All right, I want to welcome our guest. She is the commissioner of the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. And we welcome Marie Williams, and also the CEO of Mental Health America of the Mid-South, Tom Starling. I got your names correct, I hope.
You sure did.
That's it. Thanks, Rory.
Thank you both for being here. Marie, I'm going to start with you about this news release that y'all sent out about the national rankings. Give us in a nutshell what this latest report shows.
Well, it's an incredible report from the national agency that Tom serves as the CEO here in Middle Tennessee, Mental Health America. We were so delighted because we moved up 11 spots. So basically, we are now ranked 28th in the country as it relates to overall mental health accessibility and quality of care for Tennesseans in this state. What that means is something that we have been saying for a long time. Our governor and our legislature have very much invested in services for people struggling with mental health issues and substance use issues. And even though this data is 2 years old, we do know that with the recent investments of over $38 million into our state system, that we really hope and believe that we'll be able to move up even further.
Tom, tell us a little bit about the Mental Health America of the Mid-South, this group that you head up.
Yeah, so Mental Health America, we're the 61st largest charity in the United States. It's been around for 120 years. Locally, MHA of the Mid-South has been serving for about 75 years. And many of you are familiar with the Heart Association, Cancer Society, Kidney Foundation. That's exactly what we are for mental health. You wouldn't call us for a surgeon, but you would call us for advocacy, support, education, information, and some really good referrals. We're Switzerland, so we're glad to be that objective helper out in the community.
Tell us, both of you can dive in on this. We talk all the time about there's the hashtag 2020 and what a year it has been for everyone. Tell us how it's maybe changed your approach. Obviously, we're Zooming. We're all used to the distance and remote work. But how has that changed how Tennesseans, first of all, the awareness of mental health issues and also the access to mental health during a pandemic?
Tom, would you like me to take that first?
Sure.
Awesome. So a couple of things that we know, there's been research that has shown that during this pandemic, about 50% of our population has said that they've had increased feelings of anxiety, increased feelings of depression, increased feelings of hopelessness. And I know Tom will talk a lot about what his agency is doing related to screening. However, what I want to say to people that are listening tonight, for those individuals that have had those feelings and had those thoughts, we do have the behavioral health safety net and our provider network across the state that provide mental health and substance abuse care turned on a dime because of Governor Lee's telehealth executive orders, as well as the legislature's regulations that they passed. We've been able to serve more people than what we were serving prior to COVID-19 through telehealth. That's been one huge difference in this state, so that we can get care where it's needed at the time that it's needed. And we've been so grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, and just to, share my end, I'm not a clinician. I'm just like your viewers. I always thought that you had a mental illness, or you just thank God every day you didn't. But what I've learned through Mental Health America is that we're on a continuum, that when you come back from war, when you're bullied at school, when you give birth to a baby, when you survive a pandemic, when you lose your job, you're going to have feelings of hopelessness, despair, anger, sadness, anxiety, depression, and those are real and treatable. And my mantra is before stage 4. you don't want to treat this at stage 3 or stage 4. You wouldn't wait until stage 4 to treat your cancer. Why do we want to not be preventive about this? So I encourage everybody to attend to their feelings and understand that their feelings are real, they're valid, and that there's screening and hope and help available for you and your family members and colleagues at work.
And speaking of that help, Marie, tell me, you mentioned the behavioral health safety net. What is that?
Thank you so much for asking about that. The behavioral health safety net was put together back when TennCare did the disenrollment. That was back in 2005, 2006. And it allowed Tennesseans that might have been disenrolled to be able to get services. And at that time, it was for Tennesseans disenrolled under 100% of federal poverty level. Then what has occurred under Governor Lee and the legislature, they've allowed us to expand that federal poverty level to 138% of federal poverty level. In last year, Rory, we were able to serve 39,000 adult Tennesseans through the behavioral health safety net, through agencies like Centerstone, the Mental Health Co-op, Park Center. Those agencies were part of the original safety net, and the two are part of the safety net today. And what that means is that an individual who is struggling with a mental health diagnosis can get care coordination for that. They can get medication management, individual therapy, group therapy, transportation to and from the care. And now that we're dealing with COVID-19, doing a whole lot, like I said, through telehealth and telephonic if somebody doesn't have telehealth means. And then what's been really awesome is that in addition to that, and the 39,000 adults that we're serving, again, me and Tom have talked about the fact that that 39,000 isn't even included in this current information. So we really do hope to see an increase after that gets added in our rankings. But then the second piece is the establishment of the Children's Behavioral Health Safety Net. So again, in this state, if you're a child under the age of 18 and you are uninsured and you need services, this also will pay for that service package. That was put forward by Governor Lee last year, as well as the legislature approving that. And the same mental health providers that are doing the adult safety net are doing that care for kids. And it is so incredible because so many times we see a youth that may come in that has concerns or issues, they're struggling, and then come to find out the parents may be struggling. In this state, we now have the ability to serve both. And we could not be more excited about that.
So your department, then, you really rely on your partnerships with private entities and nonprofits.
Absolutely. If you look at our budget, what you'll see is that 94% of the funds that we have go to our local nonprofits to provide the services. We only have a 6% overhead, which is pretty amazing because our goal and our vision is to get every dollar we can out into the community, because we know that network knows best how to serve Tennesseans that are struggling with mental health issues.
And how much over the past 8 or 9 months since the pandemic, have you seen an increase in people actually seeking help?
Absolutely. In the beginning, we saw a little bit of a decrease, which is normal when you're dealing with some sort of natural disaster, something as horrible as the pandemic has been. But then we started seeing an increase in crisis calls and safety net services. We actually saw almost a 3,000% increase in telehealth services alone, because we've been able now to go from face to face through our provider network to telehealth. So we are seeing a huge increase, and gratefully, we do have the funding to be able to serve those in need. Another service that I think is important to talk about, and Tom's very aware of this service, is the crisis services. So if there's a Tennessean that has a crisis and needs to get help, we have that going 24/7, and we have had that going through our incredible provider network ever since COVID and prior to COVID. where people can get services. You just need to dial 1-800-CRISIS-1, and you can get someone to evaluate if you're dealing with a mental health crisis.
Awesome. All right, we're going to dive a little more into this national ranking, some of the other statistics issued in this report, and we're going to take some phone calls as well. 737+, we got a couple of callers on hold. Hang in there. We'll get to your calls after this break. Open line will return right after this.